Alright, welcome back everyone. Scarland here, bringing you another Neverwinter video. And today we're doing some Tales of Old. I believe Throne of Idris is on the table today. So, this is my first ever run through on console of doing Throne of Idris. I just threw a random group together. We don't even have a healer. I'm not a big fan of the Tales of Old, you know. I don't like the overall setup of how they did it, but I mean, that's just me, I guess. So we're gonna jump into this now. This commentary is after the fact. I recorded this earlier on during the event, and now I'm just now getting to the sound recording of it. So I'll probably just ramble for 10 minutes here. But like I said, overall, unfortunately, I didn't like the way they did Tales of Old. They've told us for a long time that they could never implement dungeons, the old dungeons. We all wanted the old dungeons in the game, and they always told us, well, the engine won't let us do it, we can't do it. So then they decided, well, I guess they can, and they did the Tales of Old event. Now, I think they should be permanent fixtures. There's no reason not to have the old dungeons in the game. I don't know why they made an event out of it. And, you know, they recently uh, had announced that they're going to do the grand retelling. So for anyone that missed any of season one, I guess that's what we're going to call this, is season one. Then you're going to be able to go back and do all of those. They're going to be all activated at the same time, I guess, the same time frame, and they're calling it the grand retelling of Tales of Old. So I didn't farm these at all. I don't have any of the artifacts, the storyteller journals. I didn't want to do it. I honestly didn't feel it. That, you know, the nostalgia was there and everything. You know, these are the old dungeons. They're awesome, but at the same time, I didn't want to sit there and farm it. I just didn't like the way they set it up. How you have to do it 5 times and it progressively, you know, gets harder every time. And then you're rewarded the currency at the end based upon if you completed all 5 run-throughs. And then they have the added effects where, you know, you can get extra lives or, you know, extended time or whatever the case may be. I mean, I just think it's kind of, I don't know, it just feels weird to me personally. Leave me a comment below and tell me how you guys feel about it. Did you like the overall way that they actually did Tales of Old, or would you have rather just had them implement the dungeons back into the game, and then you could have done them, you know, many times you wanted to do them for fun or whatever the case may be? But I mean, the rewards, yeah, you know, the artifacts are kind of decent. I might try to farm them to get the artifacts when they do launch the grand retelling of the event, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not feeling the game lately. I think a lot of people are feeling the same way, to be honest. I mean, we're in Mod 17 right now. We have Tower of the Mad Mage. So many people have quit the game. It's just, I don't know. It seems very bland to me. I mean, I had fun doing this dungeon. Of course, you know, it's an old dungeon. This is one of the ones that I actually never got to do originally, so I was happy that I got to finally do Throne of Idris. It's not really that hard of a dungeon. It's not really that long of a dungeon either. You know, it's a 10-minute run. We're doing this without a healer. You know, that's not ideal, but I mean, I couldn't even find a healer for the event. You know, like there's just no one around. The only top 1 percentile people that are still playing the game are, of course, doing, you know, Tower of the Mad Mage to their best ability. And as far as Tales of Old goes, you know, you farm it if you're going for the artifact, and other than that, you know, you just do it for nostalgia a couple times, and then there's no real reason to do it if you're not going for the artifact. There's a vanity pet every Tales of Old, but you know it's locked behind RNG because it's in a lockbox within, you know, the currency of the event. So yeah, I would have liked to gotten all the vanity pets from Tales of Old, but I just can't sit here and farm it, you know, 100 times. Like I farm things in Neverwinter, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of times when I'm going for certain items or whatever, and I didn't have a problem with it. Just for whatever reason, I don't know. It just I didn't want to do Tales of Old. Um, Maybe it's the fact, like I said, that they just kept telling us for years that they would never implement the old dungeons, that they couldn't do it. And now all of a sudden, you know, Tales of Old is almost a year old, right? Like the original first Tales of Old dungeon was Lair of the Mad Dragon, and that's what, going back to February or something? I don't know. I'll have to link the original videos in the description if you guys want to check those runs out as well. This is the third Tales of Old for console. I believe PC players have had all four Tales of Old. I think the only one we're missing right now is Dreadvault. Dreadvault was never released on console yet. I think that's the last one. Lair of the Mad Dragon and Frozen Heart are the two that we had already. And now we have Throne of Idris, and I believe the last one is Dreadvault. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me, but I'm pretty sure PC has had all four now. And I think they get the grand retelling toward the end of the year in December. I'm not sure if they're going to launch the grand retelling on console at the same time, and that will just be the first time that we get Dreadvault as well. I'm not 100% sure, what Cryptic is going to do. There's been so many bugs and issues within Tales of Old that, they've had to cancel some of the events. Like, for instance, Throne of Idris has been on the console calendar for several months that has been scheduled, and they had to scrap it. I believe even Dreadvault was scheduled, and they had to scrap it. So here we are, almost mid-November of 2019, and we have the third version of Tales of Old right now. And like I said, we're still missing Dreadvault, so I don't know if they're just going to give us that last dungeon with the grand retelling, or if they're going to squeeze it in, and then console's not going to get the grand retelling maybe until next year, maybe January, February. I'm not even sure. We still have Mod 18 that we're waiting for. Console's not going to get Mod 18 for sure, probably until next year. I would assume January maybe. It's not even on preview. I believe it's actually getting announced next Friday. So whenever you're watching this video, maybe you already know it. But so yeah, leave me a comment below. Let me know how you guys feel about the Tales of Old overall, and did you like the way they did this? I wanted to have an overall discussion video when all four of them was completed. I was going to do a Season 1 wrap-up of Tales of Old, but since, we just have gameplay here, and I got 10 minutes to talk to you guys, basically. I mean, just leave me a comment below and let me know if you enjoyed Season 1 of Tales of Old. Are they even going to do a Season 2? Is this going to be a one-time thing? Are we never going to see these dungeons again after the grand retelling? Or are they going to just simply take them out of the game again and we're never going to see them? Are they going to implement them full-time after the grand retelling? I mean, that's what I would like to see, right? Like, I don't want to see these dungeons go away, especially for the sheer fact that we know 100% that they can put all of the old dungeons in the game, and they just, I don't know, they refuse to. Maybe they're just saving all of them now for Tales of Old, and, next year we'll have Season 2, and it'll be 4 more old dungeons or something. I'm not sure what their overall game plan is going to be. I would honestly like to see these dungeons added to the game full time. There's no reason not to, so we're going to be coming up to the last boss here shortly. But yeah, I just want to know the general feedback of the overall community. Like, how do you guys honestly feel about it? Did you enjoy doing Tales of Old for the past year? Were they spread too far apart? I know there was a lot of issues with them, like I mentioned earlier. A lot of, there was times where Cryptic had to cancel the overall event because there were so many problems with the currency interactions and everything else. People weren't getting rewarded currency correctly, and it was just a mess. But I mean, that's stuff that we're used to, right? Like, it's Cryptic and we're used to that kind of crap. But yeah, I just want to know everyone's overall opinion. So even without a healer, unfortunately, the last boss can get a little tricky here. I mean, you see my teammates dying left and right. I actually didn't die at all here. I don't know how. I even got hit by some of the orbs, which I thought were supposedly going to one-shot you. But like right here, for instance, I got hit by it. Maybe my bark shield saved me, but my teammates do go down a lot. They were actually, like I said, this was a random pickup group, even from Protector's Enclave. These aren't even Alliance people. They were pretty upset that I didn't get a healer, and they were also upset that I was a Warlock and I refused to go to Soul Weaver. They're like, well, why don't you just switch to your other loadout? And I was like, listen, I'm just making a video for YouTube. I'm just staying DPS. Get over it. Like, the level 1 version, like the tier 1 of this should not be that difficult, which I didn't think it was. I mean, we ran through it within 10 minutes. Now, there's no way that we probably would have done like tier 2, 3, 4, or 5. Like, there's no way. So, we're coming to the end of the video here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this discussion. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay of Throne of Idris. Go ahead and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think overall.